Welcome to Playfully Orange, our conversations about arts and culture here in Central Florida. My guest today is Jon Territo. Hello, Jon.
Hello. Good to see you, Terry.
Looks like you're enjoying the Florida outdoors.
Actually, I'm in the state of Michigan, and it's like 70 degrees right now. It's fabulous.
All righty. We won't talk about that anymore. Jon, you are the director of the Orlando Concert Band and the director of bands at Valencia and have been
Yes.
around Central Florida for a long time.
Yes, I have. And I've been fortunate to know you for quite some time as well.
You're very kind to say so. Did you grow up here?
No, I actually grew up in the Detroit area. And when my wife and I had gotten married, which was in 1989, she got a job at Walt Disney World that moved us to Florida. And we actually didn't think we'd stay in Florida for a real long time. But both of us worked at Disney for several years. We actually still are part-time cast members there. My road took me on a teaching track, and then I worked in some churches locally, and I've been at Valencia College. This is my 10th year at Valencia College. I direct the bands there. I direct the string orchestras. I also teach French horn, but I'm a music professor at Valencia College on the East Campus.
Well, did you grow up knowing that you're going to be a musician or a teacher?
I come from a pretty musical / artistic family. And I have a large family. So a lot of my siblings were involved in music. I have a younger brother that's a composer and a very fine musician. But I have several aunts and uncles who were professional musicians or teachers. And, though I was discouraged by my father, who was very practical and wanted me to make a living, it actually, it was not unheard of that someone in my family would go into music. And I initially went into performing. In fact, when I graduated from college, I studied French horn and music education. I wanted to perform so badly. I didn't get a French horn gig. So I was a singer dancer I wound up being like 2 years because I wanted to perform. And so I'm glad I did, because that taught me a lot. I really enjoyed that. I have a little bit of a vocal background as well. So, and that took me down a whole bunch of different cool paths. And it actually enhanced a lot of my instrumental background, because I primarily stay in the instrumental fields right now. But I love vocal stuff, and I teach a lot of students. And we have a cover band at our school that it's called Commercial Music. I'm the coach for that, and I've done some other choral things. So I'm not afraid of choral music. I love it.
Well, with the theme parks, we certainly have a lot of jobs for musicians. As you're teaching kids and they want to be musicians, what are you saying to them about their likelihood of making a living?
You know what I'm saying? In fact, this summer has taught me so many new ways to prepare students, and it is a way of diversity. This is interesting. The traditional way of going about learning at a school of music is that you get so good on your instrument and you generally are going down a singular path. I don't know that has as much staying power in the real world, although some people are very orchestrally driven. They're very jazz driven. So they're going to stay on that path and they're going to continue on that path. But there's a lot of musicians that do a ton of different kind of work. They'll do studio work. They'll do small ensemble work. They'll play in a wedding band. They'll maybe sing for small events, or they do a lot of small things as opposed to one big thing as their full-time job. And preparing for that is a lot different than preparing for something that would be getting you an orchestral gig, for instance, or working with an opera company. And what I'm learning, and in fact, I'm learning that this summer by visiting some other theme parks in the Midwest, is I'm learning that some of the great opportunities that are out there for students right now are summer opportunities. They're short-term gigs. And how do you get that? Well, you get that by, showing some ability to, hey, I can sing popular music. I can do, if you don't have a musical theater background, maybe you can do a little more of that. If you're not a mover, maybe you can do more movement. If you're a jazz player, maybe you can play more legit or more pop. I want to encourage students to be as diverse a musician and artist as possible to increase their opportunities.
Well, that certainly would. I mean, there's only so many orchestras in the country where you can make a living. It's only so many of any particular genre. So that makes sense to me.
Yeah. And this isn't for everyone. There are some people who are very orchestrally driven. There are some people who are very opera driven. They're very whatever driven, jazz driven. But for students who just want to make certain that they can get work and that they can perform, there's opportunities out there like crazy. And wow, I've linked up with some really terrific production companies in the Midwest that are providing entertainment for folks all over the Midwest, but coast to coast, New York to California. And we have this summer alone at one theme park, it's called Cedar Point in Ohio. We have 4 Valencia students that are performing there, 3 in a jazz quartet. A jazz quartet. 3 of our guys are there, and then one is she's singing in a cover band. And there's some other Orlando people from UCF. There are like 6 actors that are at Cedar Point in Ohio from Florida, which is just terrific. And I want to increase those numbers because we have such great talent in Central Florida. It blows me away, and I know that this is a great opportunity for so many of our students here in Central Florida.
Do we have the kind of training institutions at Valencia and UCF and whatever that people should come from other places if they're interested in really making a career in music?
This I also am confident of. We have terrific faculty who have great, a lot of the faculty in University of Central Florida, Rollins College, Valencia College, a lot of that faculty is very broad-based. And they see, because they perform in the theme parks, they also do a lot of side gigs. They see the need to do exactly what we're talking about. I think that the institution itself can purpose to do this better. And I want to kind of be a driving force of that at Valencia College. That's for sure. I know that Rollins is doing something similar, and it's amazing how Rollins is preparing a vocalist to be ready for something like the Voices of Liberty. They have a real strong track record in preparing folks for an audition process that would be like that. So, well, yes, is the answer to your question.
Great. Nice to hear. For those who don't want to pursue a living as a musician, but want to keep up their French horn or whatever. Sure. And I know you came to talk to me about this probably more than a decade ago, about all those people that were in their school bands. What's for them now? What do we have here in Central Florida?
You know what? The Orlando Concert Band is one of those places. We are a terrific ensemble that they're former music students or former music teachers. Maybe they're just hobby musicians that you have to have a certain skill level to play in the Orlando Concert Band, but that is one ensemble that plays for a lot of civic events. In fact, we played for the July 4th, the fireworks at the fountain this past July 4th. We played for other civic things, a lot of military events. But my encouragement is that there are several churches that actually every week will have performers, not only vocalists, but band members, but like a rhythm section band, a piano, bass, drums, guitar. It's opportunity for folks like that who are not full-time musicians, but just want to stay involved musically. And then my encouragement is that Central Florida Community Arts is really meeting a lot of those needs, not only for vocalists, but for instrumentalists in the string and the band area. They have a jazz program, but they also have a theatrical program that is keeping folks who are dabbling or used to be involved theatrically. They're giving them opportunities. It doesn't take you long to do a search to find some of those in Central Florida. And you know what? It's growing. It actually is increasing an opportunity for the non-professionals.
There are others, the Performing Arts of Maitland, Orlando Brass Band. Yeah, there's
the Maitland Symphony, or exactly. I mean, I certainly am not giving a comprehensive list, but you are right, Terry. If you did a search in the area, you would certainly find opportunities.
Well, you have found your niche, being there for 10 years and also gigging around. We have a large
That's
gig
right.
economy here. And it's a delight to talk to you. Thanks for being part of Central Florida and the efforts you're taking to make this a better place for students and for our community as a whole.
Thank you, Terry, and thank you for all you do to keep the arts in front.
Yep. And thank you for watching this issue of Playfully Orange, our conversations on Thursday afternoons that goes live then. It's also recorded on YouTube and Facebook and on Orlando at Play. Bye now.
Bye-bye.